Welcome to VSB News Online for Monday, July 6th. I'm Peter Kitzel. While the island was sleeping, 50 police officers made a well-coordinated pre-dawn raid in Beacon Hill Sands and Telly Lane, Warwick parishes, seizing a quantity of drugs, drug paraphernalia, and firearms. 8 adult males and 5 females were arrested. Acting Assistant Commissioner Sean Field Lamont takes up the story at the Somerset Police Station.
This is part of a protracted transnational organized crime investigation involving overseas partner agencies into drug trafficking and money laundering. During the searches, controlled substances were seized that we believe to be our drugs, and drug paraphernalia were seized. In addition, what we suspect to be 3 firearms and ammunition were seized, as well as a large undetermined amount of cash. The investigation is currently ongoing, and we expect in due course people will be appearing before court. I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to the residents of the affected neighborhood for any inconvenience caused by this morning's activity. And in due course, the community action team will be conducting door-to-door inquiries and giving them reassurance. I would take this opportunity to encourage anybody with any additional information in regards to the sale of controlled drugs to contact the police main line 295-0011 or the hotline at Crime Stoppers 800-8477.
Most people know that it is an offense liable to a fine of up to $50,000 to catch parrotfish off Bermuda. But, as Brian Darby reports, there's one poacher on the loose that seems prepared to take the risk.
Staff from the Department of Environmental Protection were troubled to report a serious poaching incident which took place on the morning of Wednesday when fishery wardens on patrol observed a person snorkeling in the vicinity of Cooper's Island and acting in a suspicious manner. The snorkeler refused to respond to inquiries and would not show his face, but simply showed his empty hands and swam off. The wardens retraced his path and found a spear and a string of 42 recently speared fish on a seabed in shallow water, plus another recently speared fish floating on the surface. As members of the public are likely to be aware, anyone wishing to spear fish in Bermuda waters needed a license from the Department of Environmental Protection, and spearfishing is not allowed within 1 nautical mile of the shore. Further, of the dead fish recovered, 41 were parrotfish, a family of fish that have been protected under Bermuda's law since 1993, and which may not be taken or harmed. Fisheries wardens say that given the quantity of fish involved, it seems likely that the fish were intended for sale. The public and the restaurants are reminded that purchasing fish, particularly speared fish, from anyone who is not a registered fisherman is an offence under the Fisheries Act. Simply being in possession of dead parrotfish puts them in violation of the Fisheries Protected Species Order as well. Brian Darby reporting for VSB News.
A majority of Bermuda voters still favor conscripting for the Bermuda Regiment. This according to a recent poll by Profiles of Bermuda, which stated that although down significantly from the 2012 figure of 70.9%, the majority, 58.7% in 2015 and 56.4% in 2014, still favored conscription. Charles Webb asked Profile's Managing Director Cordell Riley about the relevance of this poll.
It does have relevance in the sense that in 2012, nearly 3/4 of the voters supported it. After the campaign, I think, from BAD, we've seen a shift in public opinion where it's now around the mid-50s to higher 50s. So the majority of the voters still want it, but opinion has changed. And I think if that campaign were sustained, you would then see that shifting to the majority of voters opposed to it. So the fact that right now the majority of the voters are still in favor of it means that there's no political liability for government for not moving on this thing earlier rather than or moving sooner rather than later.
Well, how much of this is political and how much is moral?
Well, I think when you listen to the campaign, there's some points that they did make that, you're forcing people against their will. And so, there's a moral obligation that people shouldn't be forced to do something against their will. There is the feeling that we need some sort of a military or something in case of emergency and things like that. But the argument was also made that it didn't have to be a military; it could be some sort of rescue or recovery sort of force. So I think something like that, there's an idea for that, or there's support for that sort of thing. So it doesn't really have to be military.
Did the position of the young people surprise you?
Yeah, I was surprised that, even they, 48% of them supported conscription. I was thinking that the younger persons would have been those opposed to it. So I think from before that this whole idea, and of course a lot of that could have been women, because we'd also polled women who are not. And some of the comments I've read online is that, we shouldn't have polled the women because they shouldn't be a part of that. But I think, part of that is that people feel that, send those guys up there, they need some discipline. So probably coming from those who haven't actually been in there, who still feel that, this is not such a bad thing. It won't kill them.
The news that a 4,000-passenger liner has already been chartered to help provide accommodation during the 2017 America's Cup Finals in Bermuda begs the question how Bermuda is faring in such other important areas as seat capacity on the international airlines serving the island. We put the question to Dr. Grant Gibbons, Minister of Economic Development.
We hope so. We think as things start to build, we should hopefully see perhaps larger planes being put on the route, and hopefully the frequency of flights will increase as well, because that impacts not only Bermudians but also business that's done here, and the international business have often said that we need additional frequencies of the flights.
Finally, what happened to the cars?
In terms of the America's Cup?
Yeah.
I think that remains to be seen. I think the sponsorship is still being sorted through, but part of the sponsorship was they wanted to have show vehicles here and to use those to help ferry people back and forth, not for hire, but I think the requirement, as I think most people know, was that Bermudian drivers, licensed Bermudian drivers with I think it's a transport sort of taxi type license be required to drive those vehicles, but there's been no more discussion at this point on that.
The Minister of Finance, Bob Richards, in answering questions in Parliament on Friday, revealed that since it came to power, the OBA government has spent $15.8 million on legal fees, including money paid out in legal aid. The list of legal firms used by the government totals 62, and the biggest earner by far has been the Mussenden Chambers, who earned $2.8 million in the past 2 years on government work and cases funded by legal aid. Second on the list is Cox Halliday Wilkinson at $1.3 million, with Conyers Dillon Pearman third at $1.2 million. And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
If a private organization like BIOS can benefit from the performance contract scheme that has seen AirCare as contractor lend it the money needed to pay for a total energy upgrade, would this be something that the government could get involved in? The man with the answer is Craig Stevenson, AirCare's manager.
Most certainly. In fact, I'm already engaged with some discussions with the government, and we're hoping that 2 buildings that they've earmarked for this similar kind of approach will bear similar fruit. We are very hopeful that, given again the cost of the kilowatt and aging infrastructure, we are very excited to be able to take many facilities from that reactive position into a truly proactive position with a guarantee, and we're prepared to lend that capital to do so.
How about hotels?
Hotels, again, largely aging infrastructure. So we have a couple of unique opportunities. One is the cost of that kilowatt hour. That is not going to go down anytime soon, as we've seen in the recent press. So while that continues to remain as is or increase, which it most likely will, that is the unique opportunity that we can take that saving over an extended period, and providing the math makes sense through an investment grade audit which will determine that opportunity, then we're prepared to make that capital investment on behalf of that entity.
That's what they call a win-win situation.
And that's it. We're in the facilities management business, so we have to think differently. We're not like other mechanical companies that are merely trying to sell a box. This delivers this SEER rating or this BTU. On the commercial side, we're looking to what can we do differently? How can we deliver that value proposition? So ultimately, what we're trying to find is a way to deliver that long-term life cycle cost benefit today.
Of course, BIOS doesn't have the money to splash around on huge upfront expenses more than most places.
Well, most entities don't these days. This is a very difficult economy, and people have to think differently. If they're going to get a different result, you have to act differently. So what we found is that if we can take this approach, the performance contractor approach, with a contractual guarantee, if it makes sense financially, then that's an investment that we like to make because we're investing in Bermuda's future.
The Bermuda-based insurance company, African Risk Capacity, has been endorsed by the G7 leaders for its unique catastrophe insurance pool designed to protect vulnerable regions from drought and other disasters. The G7 pointed to the success of ARC as well as the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility for their innovative solutions for clients that seek climate insurance. ARC has already paid out $26 million in its first year after 3 of the participating countries in Western Africa suffered low rainfall, thus benefiting 1.3 million people and their 600,000 livestock. Larry Mussenden, president of the Bermuda Football Association, is waiting to hear when he will be returning to Europe for the emergency FIFA Congress, at which he will supervise the election of a new president. With controversy still raging over alleged corruption at the top in the world's governing body, Mr. Mussenden is still convinced that it has been a power for good in the beautiful game.
I have to say that FIFA as a body has done tremendous work around the world by making available the FIFA Go projects as well as other programs. And in respect of the Go project here in Bermuda, we are able to see the work of FIFA by the synthetic surface field that we have up at Prospect along with Lights. We've had that for a while, and we now have the headquarter building there. People will know that the Bermuda Football Association recently moved its headquarters there, and so we have been operating out of the headquarters for about 2 or 3 weeks now. And it's a very good office environment there because we're right there along with all of our gear and other premises. We are now starting the next phase, which is to work on the lower level, which is to finish off the changing rooms for the players, changing rooms for the referees, some public bathrooms, and then fitness rooms, storage rooms, and 1 or 2 other things. We have to sort out our parking lot as well. And so we have used Goal 1 and 2 to produce the field and the lights, Goal 3 and 4 to do the building to the point where the office could move in, and then we have Goal 5, which we've applied to for FIFA like any other country can, that has been approved. And so it's a matter of now getting in the right paperwork to be able to have the money released to do the project. Otherwise than that, you'll see that FIFA has made other programs available. We have people that come here to put on referee courses. We have people that come to do marketing courses, something that's called FIFA Performance that helps us to develop strategic plans. So Bermuda has quite rightfully taken advantage of all of the programs that FIFA has been able to offer. In respect of what we have seen recently about FIFA and all the various allegations and indictments from the United States Department of Justice, that is really shocking and disappointing. But the organization has to remain strong. We have to be able to look at all the positive things that we do. If there seems to be or is a need for reform, those reforms are going to have to take place, and then the organization should be able to go from strength to strength to strength.
That's sort of putting your name forward?
No, not at all.
And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from the Sports Desk.
Bermuda went down in their opening ICC Americas Under-19 division match against USA yesterday up at the Somerset Cricket Club by 136 runs. The United States batted first and scored 255 all out in their 50 overs. Mohawk Butch was their top scorer with 76 off of 83 deliveries. Sharae Smith was the pick of the Bermuda bowlers. He returned figures of 10 overs, no maidens, 4 for 43, while Dowray Rollins chipped in with 9 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 37. In reply, Bermuda were bowled all out for 119. Smith was the top scorer with 28, batting at number 10. He had 5 fours and 1 6 in his inning. But it was the bowling of Kiefer Phil who led the United States of America to victory, returning figures of 7 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 25. On Saturday, up at the Southampton Oval, Southampton Rangers retained the Western County Cup with a 252-run victory over PHC. Southampton Rangers were sent to bat by PHC, and they scored 365 for 6 in their allotted 50 overs. Captain Gennaro Tucker was the top scorer with 112 not out. In reply, PHC were bowled all out for 113. Marcus Simmons was the top scorer, batting at number 9. He had 3 fours and 1 6 in his 25-ball, 33-minute knock of 25. Derek Brangman was the pick of the Southampton Rangers bowlers with 4 wickets for 45 runs off of 10 overs that included 2 maidens. Western Stars retained the Central County Cup, also on Saturday, by 2 wickets over Devonshire Recreation Club. At St. John's Field, Devonshire Recreation Club were bowled all out for 200, with Ajan Lamb their top scorer on 86. Jaden Manders was the pick of the Western Stars bowlers with 6 overs, 3 for 29. In reply, Western Stars scored 204 for 8 in 38.1 overs. Brian Hall was the top scorer with 66, while Mackay Young added 62. Lamont Brangman returned figures of 7 overs, 1 maiden, 4 for 23 for Devonshire Recreation Club. In Premier Division cricket, Southampton Rangers won by 164 runs over Cleveland County at Southampton Oval yesterday. Rangers scored 303 for 4 and bowled Cleveland County all out for 139. St. David's Cricket Club won by 99 runs on Saturday at Lord's against Flats Victoria. St. David's scored 252 for 6 in their 50 overs, and Flats were all out for 153. Despite stopping briefly, looking like he had stomach cramps, Tyler Butterfield finished the European Ironman Championships in Frankfurt, Germany yesterday in 7th place. Butterfield clocked an overall time of 8 hours, 26 minutes, and 25 seconds. Meanwhile, Alex Pilgrim competed in the 13-14 draft legal triathlon at Oulton Dorney in the UK. Competing in the high-performance boys 13-14 age group division, Pilgrim finished 6th out of 78 that started the race. Tyler Smith has been training in the north of Spain with Canadian junior elite coach Kelly Guess and a group of Canadian elite juniors. Smith competed in the 16-19 Junior Elite European Triathlon Union race on Saturday, and due to the extreme heat in Europe, the amateur races were canceled. However, Smith did perform. Smith finished 26 out of 57 in a time of 1 hour and 20 seconds. Winner's Edge Criterium was the latest of the Bermuda Bicycle Association races during the 2015 road race season, which took place at Southside yesterday in the Adult A Division. It was won by Dave McComas. He clocked 37:46.1. Mark Hatherley finished second in a time of 37:46.7, and crossing the line third was Mario Brooks in a time of 37:47.1. Vanda Roberts won the women's race in a time of 28:23.9. Tristan Narraway finished second in 28:24.4, and Penelope Butterfield finished third in 28:25 flat. Adam Hopkins won the Adult B Division, recording a time of 38:59.5. Chad Townsend finished second in a time of 39 flat, and Rico Smith finished third, clocking 39.6. Ricky Smith rode to victory in the Adult C Division, clocking 28:26.8. Terry Thomas was second in 28:26.9, and Malik Joe was third in 28:27.6. The Junior A Division was won by Najee Smith, who clocked a time of 29:29.5. Mackay Cook was second in 30:13.2, and Xander Miller finished third in a time of 30:18 flat. The Bermuda Junior Golf Association's Match Play National Championships concluded at the Riddles Bay Golf and Country Club on Friday evening, with Micah Ming crowned the champion in the Blue Tee Group, winning a 36-hole match play battle against Eric Douglas. Third place went to Alex Mason, and fourth went to Dakota Lamb. The Consolation Group champion was Kenny Lejour, with Luke Watson finishing as the runner-up. Tyler Emery won the Red Tee Group 18 holes, with Joe Watson finishing in second. Shelley Pearson and her Oxford University Women's Boat Club and Harvard University Women's 8 rowing teammates was in action at the Hanley Royal Rowing Regatta on day 2, taking part in the Reham Challenge Cup. Pearson and her teammates faced off against the UK senior team and went down by 2 1/4 boat lengths. The Bermuda Powerboat Association hosted the national point races with a 45-minute timed race that began and ended at Ferry Reach yesterday. David Sally and Jordan Fletcher won the B class. Jody and Tony Carrera finished second, with Dennis Trott and Darius Zool finishing third. Damon Simons and Jeff Souza finished first in the C class, with Derek Simons and Damon DeShields finishing in second. The D class was won by Stephen Eversley and Jakai Spencer, while Howard Asenso and Ryan Spencer finished second. Bermuda's women's rugby team, dubbed as Dark and Stormies, competed in the 44th annual Stampede Sevens tournament in Calgary, and by all accounts it was a baptism of fire. Bermuda played 4 games in the Women's Premier Division, going down in all 4 games. They only scored 7 points and gave up 153 points. In their first match, they were defeated 46-0 by the Ruggabeds. They then faced off against the Stars Rugby Sevens and went down 24-7. Match 3 saw the Dark and Stormies fall 37-0 to the Star Rugby's Sevens Red, and then the Stars Rugby's Sevens Blue defeated Bermuda 46-0. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Tuesday, July 7th, it will be partly cloudy with a passing shower. Winds will be northwesterly and light, veering northwesterly during the evening. We are expecting a high near 85 Fahrenheit and a low near 78 Fahrenheit. This weather report is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thank you for watching VSB News Online for Monday, July 6th. I'm Peter Cattell.